Good morning, everybody. How are you? I hope you're doing great. So my name is Mr. Lindquist or Professor Lindquist or just Mr. L for short. And I am your college math 1000 instructor for Centenary University. And I am really looking forward to having a fantastic um, course, semester, whatever you want to term it. Okay. Now, we're going to start. This is your introductory video. It's an introduction to me, who I am. It's an introduction to the class, and it's an introduction to your expectations that we're going to have for you. So the first thing is that I come from Long Island, a little town called Bayport, and I lived there, had a great time, a fantastic high school experience, and then I went off to college. When I went off to college, I went to Albany State University. Um, Graduated there, and then I headed on to Long Island, where when I graduated from Albany State, I graduated with a degree in mathematics and physics with a minor in education. When I went down to Long Island, what I did was I planned to pursue teaching as a career through a graduate studies program, and I actually wound up getting a job right away. I student taught. I actually didn't student teach. I actually got placed right away to begin my career. For there, I taught and coached for 33 years in a school district called Patchogue Medford, right smack in the middle of Long Island on the South Shore. Had what I would consider to be a great career. I really enjoyed it. It was productive, it was enjoyable, and it had a tremendous sense of purpose. So with all of that in mind, I think I did really well. And now I've retired, and I'm looking to keep a little bit of a touch with actual teaching and to work with young teachers or young students who maybe had a little bit of trouble with math, take what I learned through my career, help them get a whole lot better, maybe inspire some people to study math. And before you even laugh about that, I had a kid in my class years ago. I taught summer school. I had a girl in my class by the first name Wendy. I had a whole bunch of different Wendy's. Um, and Wendy had failed her Algebra 1, which is ninth grade algebra Regents exam in another school district. I hadn't taught her. And she had me for summer school, and just something clicked. Something worked really well, and she became a relentless worker. Understood her algebra really well. Did great, and in summer school, which is only 6 weeks long, she wound up taking the Regents exam, and I think she got a 95 or a 96 on it. And right now, Wendy is a math teacher, has been for a long time at a school district called Sachem, also in the middle of Long Island, New York. So you never know what's going to happen. And I can tell you that when I was a student in school, up until my junior year of high school, if you'd have said to me that I was going to build a career as a math teacher, I'd have said, you're absolutely crazy. And if I'd have said um, that I was going to do it for 33 years, love it, enjoy it to no end. And I loved history. Particularly love science. Um, and I even wrote a lot. I've been published in a bunch of different magazines and stuff like that. If you'd have said that you were going to have a career based on math, I would have left really, really, really hard, because it was the one subject I did not enjoy at all. So I think you're going to see a little bit of a different perspective on math, a really, really sound one, an excellent one, and hopefully you enjoy it and learn to enjoy it as much as I did. And if you're going to pursue a career in it, hopefully everything that I present to you will help you become better at what you choose to do. Okay. One thing that's important to know is hobbies and interests. I absolutely like to tie in everything that we see around us. Put it all together. Learning is learning. Intelligence is intelligence. And we apply that to math. It's not just the math skill that we're looking to do. We're trying to create the best in you as a learner, and then as a leader and as a teacher of others and each other as time goes on. So in order to do that, we have to be able to connect it to the world. So I have a few hobbies that I'm very interested in. I mentioned before that I write. I do write a lot. But most of the writing I've done is for fly fishing magazines, which has a long, rich history of outstanding authors. Not that I am necessarily one of them, but we in fly fishing, we love to catch pretty much anything that swims, but with a fly rod. And that is a passion of mine. As I look out my window right now, I am looking at the Delaware River. It's the border between New York and Pennsylvania, and a little later on down between Pennsylvania and New Jersey. and I love to fish it. I do a ton of fly fishing there. I also do a ton of photography. I love both of them. And my wife, she's really into showing dogs. We have 5 dogs. She's into showing them. She's into obedience and agility and competing with them. So in order to afford to go to all of these dog shows, and because I had a photography experience with all of my fly fishing and the writing that I did, um, I actually started a dog photography business. You can go online and check out some of my work at mansbestfriendphotography.com. And that allows us or helps us pay for all of these shows that my wife loves to do. All right. So that's a little bit about me as a person, a little bit about my perspective on class, which is, by the way, one where I like to laugh, I like to joke, and I like to I like people to enjoy and want to be in class, and have this be something that's the highlight of their day. And then to learn how to get you to think as best we can get you to think, and so on and so forth. You know, I had an epiphany many, many years ago. I was listening to a song called Vincent, and it talked about, and you're going to see this in a little bit, we're going to talk more about it. It talked about the artist Vincent van Gogh and how he perceived the world and how he tried to get people to perceive the world, or to see what he saw in perceiving the world. And that's really what I'm going to try to do in this course. A little bit more about that later on though. A little bit of the nuts and bolts of the course and how the course is going to be run. First, this is like a hybrid class. We're actually going to hold class. You're going to get an invite to class. And it's also for online learners where they're going to watch it as they can fit it into their schedule. I'm going to record copies of each of the sessions for them to be able to do this. How exactly I present that, I'm still learning how to do. I think later tonight I'm going to be talking to Professor Teresi, and she's going to show me how to do that. But at this point in time, I'm still a little unclear as to exactly how I do that, but I will absolutely know how to do that by Monday. We meet at 10 o'clock in the morning, from 10 o'clock to roughly 11:40. On days that we have quizzes, we'll end a little bit earlier, and you'll have time to take your quizzes. And if we should happen to have a test that day, then your responsibility for that day is to take a test. We're not going to actually meet where I say, okay, everybody's here at 10 o'clock, everybody works on the test. You will be taking that test on your own schedule during that day. Tests and quizzes, they get an open window. They say you can begin them on such and such a time and end them on such and such a time. And like for a test, I would say, okay, we're going to have a test on such and such a day. And then as we have a test on that day, you will then take the test on that day. And for quizzes, we'll give you a couple of days to take the test. So with this hybrid class situation, what we do is if you're in the class, we do the class for that particular day from 10 to 11:40. What if you can't make class that day? If you can't make that class that day, like we're doing right now, we have a video, and you'll check out the video, you'll watch the video, and actually multiple videos for each class, because I'm going to try to break it down into shorter sections for you rather than listen to me talk for an hour and 40 minutes straight, okay? And then there'll be some assignments to work on and so on and so forth during the course of that time period. And then, so if we have class on a Monday, I'll post the videos, and you'll be responsible to get those videos watched before the Wednesday class. And then on Wednesday, I'll post more videos, and you're responsible to get them done before the following Monday class, and so on. And that'll be pretty much the weekly routine. There'll be 10 quizzes during the course of the market period, so at times you'll have to take a quiz, and 4 tests during the market period, so at times you'll have to take a test. On testing days, those days, again, we're not going to meet in the usual 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock format. You'll take the test when you can during the day. Now, there's something really cool about the fact that I'm going to be posting these videos, and I've done a lot of online teaching the last 2 years. What's really cool about it is this becomes like an extra help bank, where if you ever get a little confused and you're like, man, what did he say? Like when you're in high school, sometimes you just sit in the class and you listen to your teacher, and the teacher would come home, or you would come home, and you'd open up the book and you look at the questions and you're like, what is this stuff? I've never seen it before in my life. Oh my God, I can't believe it. Might make students go bald like me, all right? But the truth of the matter is, if that should happen in this class, you can just race over to the video. Let's say it was a lesson on, I don't know, solving inequalities, and there'll be a video on solving inequalities with a PowerPoint presentation and step by step. And then you can literally go to that video and watch the video again and kind of give yourself extra help on demand, if you will. And that'll help you learn how to do these particular videos, or help you learn the content through these videos. There's also another way that you can use the videos, which is really cool. Well, first off, there's the people who take it as an online course, and that's how they're going to learn the course, is through the videos. And for those people, they can also watch them multiple times. So if you look at it once and you don't get it right and you're not understanding it, then you can watch it again and maybe understand it a little bit better. One of the mantras that I had as a teacher during the course of my career was, it does not matter how fast you learn, it matters that you learn. So for someone who has struggled with math their whole life, they may have to watch the video 2 or 3 times in the beginning until they can say, hey, wait, I really get this now. This is making a whole lot of sense to me. And then as the course progresses, that may not be necessary for them to do anymore. But if it is, those videos are there as a resource for you to help make sure that you prosper and do really well through the course. But there's another way that's really cool. A few years ago, as a teacher in public schools, they began to come up with this new way to teach, where a teacher would post the videos. So let's say we're doing a lesson on inequalities. The teacher would actually put the lesson up on YouTube. And then the students would be responsible to watch that YouTube lesson before class even began. And then when they were in class, the teacher would just give them a bunch of problems to do. So the theory behind it, the students were supposed to capture before they ever walked in the room. Now, I'm not saying that you have to do that. Whatever you want to do is up to you. But if you were inspired to do that, if you say, hey, let me try this, this might help me understand, then you can actually often watch the video before we hold our class and then sit in on class and kind of see that video, well, not the video, but see that content presented for a second time. And then as we work our way through that, you do some more, we'll have problems for you to do during every lesson. And then you could walk out like, hey, wait a minute, by watching that video ahead of time, I had a strong foundation about what Mr. L was going to teach as class went on. So I really like to do that. You may choose to do that ahead of time. Again, it's definitely not a mandatory thing, but for some kids, it can really help them learn. Okay. All right. So that's basically how class is going to be run during the course of the year. You'll get a much better idea as we go on. Office hours. Office hours are Monday nights from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock. Now, here's the thing. The only thing I ask is that if you are going to attend office hours, and again, you got the videos for extra help if these hours are not convenient for you. If you say, well, 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock on Monday, I got some busy things going on, don't know if I can make it, not a problem. Just go back and watch the videos again, and it should answer your questions. But if you're still confused and something's still bothering you, then just send me an email. And when you send me that email, say, okay, this is the topic that's giving me a hard time, and I'd like to meet with you on Monday night, and we'll have a Teams meeting, and you can meet, and we'll go over it at that particular point in time, okay? There's a class calendar that if I put on that class calendar, I'm going to actually try to do a little bit of screen sharing right now. Oh, I can't do that. I don't know how to do that anyway. So basically, there's going to be a calendar posted on my page. And when you look at that calendar, it'll give you every single lesson and what your responsibilities are for that lesson. It announces all quizzes ahead of time. It announces all tests ahead of time. Now, it's possible I might have to adjust that calendar a little bit. And if so, I will adjust it on that board. And I'll also make it a point to address any changes in class. But for now, it looks real solid. It looks like it's something that we can stay with during the course of the year. And I think that it'll work out really well for you, okay? Homework will be on the message boards. I don't intend to give you a ton of homework. I intend to give you a lesser number of problems, but problems designed to get you to think more deeply about the content that we did in class, okay? So message boards will be what you want to check for that. Your grades are generated automatically. as you take a quiz or take a test, it's graded instantly by the Moodle program. And then it's put into my grade book and the grades kick themselves out. Okay. Last thing I want to talk about is I think if I remember, I think every person in this class is a freshman. And being someone who comes into college for the first time, you got to think, what exactly is college all about? College is about a lot of things. For one thing, when you're in school, yes, it's very important to get a particular experience out of school. You want to do that. You don't want to leave school isolated and gaining nothing of a social value or nothing of a emotional value from school. So that's an important part of school. But there's also a very cold element of school. It's an economic exchange where, you pay to go to school and the school works, exposes you to things and teaches you things that allows you to become worthy of getting a job. And the degree you get when you get out of school says, hey, I have a Bachelor of Science degree. This is the one I got. I got a Bachelor of Science degree in math with a minor in physics and also in education. And when I got that and I began to look to be placed for student teaching, there was actually a person who was a principal at a local school district, Patchogue Medford, who had retired, and he saw my degree and he steered me to student teach in Patchogue Medford, and I resisted. I didn't want any part of being there. But what he knew is that was a very powerful degree. And then he put me in Patchogue Medford, and Patchogue Medford said, oh, wait a minute, we need someone to teach a class. Are you interested? And the difference is this. As someone who could teach the class, I would get paid right away. I wasn't a student teacher, and there was a way to do it through a thing back then in New York State called a student intern. And lo and behold, I started teaching right away without ever student teaching, all because of the degree. It was in the power of the degree. And that's one of the elements of college. One of the elements of college is that you're paying for this degree and you invest X amount of dollars, a little mathematical terminology here, and out of it, you get a degree that can earn you Y amount of dollars, and Y must be greater than X. Otherwise, it is a foolish economic investment. So in other words, you pay so much money to go to school. When you get out of school, you make a certain amount of money, and you better make more over time to get your degree than you do to pay for your degree. And that's one of the things that's going on with college. And to that end, I have a responsibility to you. My responsibility to you is pretty simple. I need to do everything I can to help you enjoy math, yeah, but also make sure that you prosper in the class. And if you're able to do really well in this class and it helps you toward getting your degree, I have done my job. And I promise you, I take my job very seriously. It's extremely important to me, okay? In the course of doing that, I think it's phenomenally important that we teach you about a work ethic, that we teach you how to learn, how to go about your business. You're going to hear me talk about this a lot during the course of the year, because if you learn how to learn and if you develop a really strong work ethic, and then you take that and apply it to everything that you do, your classes here at CU, also the jobs that you have along the way, you're going to be a really successful person. So to me, it's like a sacred responsibility to get you to learn how to do that stuff. And you can bet that I'm going to do that. Okay. A couple other mantras. I don't believe it matters how fast you learn. I think it matters that you learn. To that end, these videos are an awesome deal. When I taught in public school, I used to put the videos of every class I taught up on YouTube every single day. And I used to say, okay, kids, if you didn't understand the lesson, you can watch it. And look, you guys don't have parents do your homework with you anymore. But for the parents of those kids, I was like, look, if you're wondering what was going on in class, if you're wondering how you can help your kid, you can watch those videos too. And they wound up being an extremely helpful resource. I taught about 125 to 130 kids a year. And there were certain videos that would get as many as 75 or 80 views, because between the parents and the kids, they found it extremely helpful. Likewise, when I put these videos up, I think it'll be extremely helpful for you, and it'll help you learn and prosper. So don't worry if you got to watch a video 2 or 3 times. You can get it down pat. One other mantra before I end this particular video and start some videos about how to learn or particular class content, all right? And that is this video, or this saying: performance is a function of preparation. You know, the bottom line is, if we sit in class and we have the greatest time on the face of the earth and nobody learns anything, this is not good. All right. You didn't pay money to not learn anything. You're paying money to learn things, and you're also paying money to make sure you get a good grade. Okay. The performance, the kind of grade that you get, is a function of your preparation. So between the classes, you do not want to miss classes. And between all of the videos that you have available to you, let's say, God forbid, on a Monday morning, you wake up and you're sick as a dog and you cannot roll out of bed and make it into the class session from 10 o'clock to 11:40. If you're one of those who attends that session regularly, then you know what you do? You make up the session by watching the videos. All right. Performance is a function of preparation. If you prepare through class and or through videos, it does not matter which you take or which you do, then I think you're going to do a great job. All right. So it's going to look awkward for a second here as I try to stop this recording and then put it up online. But anyway, have yourself an awesome rest of the day. And I will have some more videos recorded pretty soon so that we can help you get the education that you're looking to do, man. Have an awesome day. Take care now.